got it. Okay, everyone, simmer down. We got a lot to do today. I have to stand for this one. 20 people in this class. There's like 50 people in this class, you know? I mean, they're not all here at the same time, obviously, but nonetheless. Okay, let's go. Let's go back into the world of Shabbat Halacha. Now, let's recap. Let's review, because review is good. Review is good, because even I get confused sometimes, and I've taught this class many, many times. We are in the world of Melechet Machshevet. We all use that word. The word Malacha means creative or constructive work. Where was this done? In the Mishkan. Okay. How was it done? It was done, not too specific, just general. It was done in a very set, organized way. Okay? We're going to refer to that as Melechet Machshevet. Melechet Machshevet was the organized way it was performed. Every act of the 39 acts that were done in the Mishkan was done in a very uniform, specific, and direct way. What does that mean? Well, there's three forms that we're going to look at. We're about to finish the first form. We're going to do the second and third today, God willing. And it goes like this. In order to be Melechet Machshevet, it needs to have Machsheva thought. In order to be Melechet Machshevet, it needs to have Machsheva thought. Let's say I were to remove the thought from the Malacha. Oh, fantastico, no problems. I have something called in Malacha, Sheino Legufa. We spent one long class on that. I can also remove the thought by a Davar Sheino Miskaven. Wasn't intentional. Nachon? Yes, Rabbi? But we're going to add a third right now. And the third is called Mitaseik, or Mitaseik if you're Ashkenazi. I'm fine with both. And the way I remember this, when I learned this the first time, was Mitaseik sounds like mistake. It could be that's where the mistake comes from. I don't know. I'll be very impressed if it was. Mitaseik means it was done by mistake. If it's done by mistake, it is not done with machshava. I didn't have my thought involved in it. If the thought is removed, it's not Melechet Machshevet. In the word of Mitaseik, or mistake, or inadvertent, is usually how the book's translated, it is totally not my fault. In the other two, I knew what I was doing, I was available, but here, it's complete mistake. That should not be confused with another concept we see in the world of Shabbat and outside the world of Shabbat, which is shogeg. Mitaseik, I think it occurs elsewhere in Halacha, but usually it's referring to a Shabbat thing. Shogeg appears in Shabbat and elsewhere. It is not shogeg. The difference between shogeg and Mitaseik, is shogeg is I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm turning on a light. But one of two possibilities have occurred while doing this. One, I didn't know that's forbidden. No one told me I can not turn lights on a Shabbat. Well, you know now. Or number two, I didn't know it was Shabbos. I didn't know it was Shabbat. That's shogeg. I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm turning on a light. I just didn't know that you can't do that on Shabbat. Or I thought it was Sunday afternoon. That's shogeg. That is not Mitaseik. Mitaseik is what's going to happen when you have lots of people over your house for an Oneg Shabbat. And they're all going to crowd around, and then one person inevitably is actually really cool, right? And he or she is drinking something, and they're leaning against the wall, and what happens? They hit the light switch. It's going to happen. Okay, that's Mitaseik. Okay? When that happens, I am totally not liable. Right? It's a complete mistake. It's unintentional. Do I know it's Shabbat? Yeah. Do I know turning on lights is forbidden on Shabbat? Yeah. So it ain't shogeg. You can't say bishgaga, but you can say Mitaseik. Mitaseik is the Shabbat version of knowing full well it's forbidden, knowing Shabbat, but I didn't mean to do it. Other classic examples of this would be you want to pick up a flower off the ground, which we're going to see is permitted if it's detached. If it's detached, flowers are not muksa, you can move it around. But actually, it was attached. So you guys lift up one thing, thinking it's just like, and actually it's that, and you pull out the ground. Kotzer. Do I know it's forbidden to do that? Yeah. Do I know it's Shabbat? Yeah. But I was trying to do something completely different. Or I want to throw a ball less than 4 amot. 4 amot, daled amot, what is that? 6 feet? You cannot, in a public domain, in Rishut HaRabim, in a public domain, a domain where thousands walk through, at least 32 amot wide, okay? I cannot move something or carry something more than daled amot. If I want to just move it a little bit, just get a little bit, and then I actually throw it further, I didn't mean that. I know I can't do it. It was a complete mistake. For this, there's no culpability, there's no tshuva to be done. It's just a mistake that was done. Okay, there's no negligence. You just walk around. Your sleeve caught something, yeah, and therefore it is not a problem. Okay. Generally speaking, though, we are careful to try to set things up in our homes so that these mistakes don't happen. Although this is completely negligent, we try to set things up in homes by taping down switches, because in the bathroom, trust me, the hand naturally goes to the switch. It just does. You just walk out the bathroom, by definition, you just walk out and slap. Right? Especially kids, but even adults. So what can I do about that? So the answer is, tape it down, do something to try to prevent it. But if you were to do it, it's not a problem. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was the second thing?
Which second thing? Oh, I can't go back to that. We did a whole class on that. That's that's an inadvertent, unintentional. Yeah.
So how could, for example, like moving the heavy table across a garden, if it was a mistake that you made, like how is it different, like mindset? Like you didn't mean to make the grooves in the dirt when you moved the table, like it was a complete and utter mistake.
No, but I know I'm moving a table. That's the difference. If I know I'm moving a table, I'm in the wrong. I got to think about it.
No, but what if you don't know it's forbidden on Shabbat? That's shogeg.
That'll be shogeg.
Okay.
That'll be shogeg. This is, I accidentally nudged him with my elbow and it slid and made a groove in the ground.
Okay.
You're totally out of the realm of any form of chatat or bringing any form of. It's complete. There was no negligence. You just touched it. It was totally unexpected.
That's Mitaseik?
That's Mitaseik. Yeah, that's Mitaseik. That is Mitaseik. I'll give you more examples if you want, but that's what I got right now. Okay? You inadvertently walk around with something in your pocket. Really, there's a mitzvah we're going to do. Check your pockets for Shabbat, make sure you're not carrying anything. But you go outside. Now, once you're out and you realize you have something in your pocket, then I'm going to work out ways for you not to be over on the mitzvah or avera of carrying daled amot in a public domain. Which, by the way, is going to involve you walking around and not stopping so that you haven't planted the object. Right? Which is not for now, but that's what you're meant to do. You're going to keep walking until you go back into Rishut Yachid, into a private domain. Okay? But you didn't mean it, Okay. That's good. Next. Next is Shinui. So now we're moving to another grouping. So that's the first grouping done. The first grouping were all transgressed via thought process. Okay? What's my thought when it was being done? And the wrong thought, I had no thought whatsoever. Grouping number 1. Grouping number 2 is related to the word machshava, that is choshev. Choshev is it's skilled action, skilled labor. The way a malacha was done in the Mishkan was that it was done by a skilled person in a skilled way. When they wrote the letters on the krashim, on the planks of wood that pulled the Mishkan together. Remember, there's planks of wood that go around, so the drawings of it that went around. They put letters on them in order to know which was Aleph, which was Bet. Like making a sukkah. Maybe we'll still put letters on them to know where they went. When they wrote those letters, which is the malacha of kosev or kotev, when they wrote those letters, they wrote them in a regular way. They took their pen and they wrote Aleph or the quill or whatever it was. The ink was put with a paintbrush, whatever it is, on it. Aleph, Bet. Right? They wrote it down. The Shinui was never employed. The Shinui is the way that it's not normally done. Now, there's 2 ways to understand that statement. The way it's not normally done could be understood as objectively, it's not done that way, or subjectively, I don't usually do it that way. And it depends on the circumstance to know which one's going to help you. Okay? So once again, let's just get a general picture. Things were done in a skilled fashion. Choshev is skilled. But if I throw in number 4, I do it in an unskilled way, it could be that it's permitted on Shabbat. Or it's forbidden on Shabbat, but it's no longer Torah prohibition. And that's how we define it. Meaning, writing with your right hand as a right-hander, but if I were to write palm up with a pen like this, or I were to write with my left hand, which I don't usually do, there are left-handed people out there who use their left hand, and it's a malacha d'oraisa, but me, using my left hand, it's just not a Torah prohibition. Because I throw in the Shinui, that's not the way it's done, that's not skilled labor. For me, skilled labor is on my right hand. Now I'm writing with my left hand, it's not skilled. That's objective. You have cases, I know there was a famous artist who was paralyzed, right, from the neck down. But they were able to put a pen in their mouth and write with it. And write with it. Now, had that person been Jewish, if they were writing on Shabbat with their mouth, is that a malacha d'oraisa or not?
Yes.
We
It's
have
not allowed.
2 opinions. It's definitely not allowed. I'm trying to figure out, is it malacha d'oraisa or not? It's probably d'orabbanan.
What does that mean?
Is it d'oraita? Are we putting one of the real malachot over here? Right? Or we've moved it out of the category. In other words, it's a shinoi that has taken it out of malacha machshavet, and it's no longer a Torah prohibition. Rabbinically, we're going to forbid it. But is it still a d'oraita or not? What do you think?
Yes, because that's the way he's doing this. So for
He's
him,
skilled.
it's not Shinui.
I hear. He's skilled, but that's not usually the way it's done. And so even there, it removes itself from malacha machshavet. It's not a d'oraisa.
But isn't that we could do it in general?
Right.
doesn't mean it's-
Sometimes it's objective. In that case, though, it's not. Okay? That would not have been liable for Kotev on Shabbat because that's not the way it's done. I know that's the way he always does it, but objectively it's not done that way, even though subjectively he does it that way himself.
So
That's just not the way. So there's a subjective, I write with my left, and I write with my right. I'm a writer, and I'm writing with the left, that's subjective. That would be objective. Objectively, people don't do it that way.
So he's allowed to write.
He's not allowed to do it. But if you were to do it, it wouldn't be a Torah prohibition. The discussion is, at this point, academic, but we're going to take this Shinui thing and make it l'maaseh, make it real. And it's difficult to tell, by the way. How do people normally put seeds in the ground? With their right hand, if they're righty, right? No, not the choresh part, but the putting seeds in the ground. So walk a little bit. But you know what? I'm a righty. I use my lefty. Sometimes I do that. So the Sheino is not going to help me. Even though as a righty, use my left hand. Could well be. So even over there, it's not always going to help. So it really depends on the circumstance, how things are done. Okay. So generally speaking, Shinui is not permitted on Shabbat. But there are times of emergency, for example, not major emergency where I can break Shabbat law, but I'm permitted and therefore I want to employ a Shinui. So for example, I'm a doctor and I have to make a call on Shabbat to call a prescription or something which I need to do on Shabbat. It's not an emergency, it's not life or death. It's not life or death. Life or death, everything gets suspended. Everything gets suspended. But over here, well, not everything, but everything needed in order to make sure that life is saved, right? So I can use a car, but I can't turn on the music. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's limits. Having said that, if I need to call the hospital, I'll throw a Shinui. How do people usually type on the phone? Beep, 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 right? Or beep, 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 beep. If I use my knuckle or the back of my finger, that's a Shinui. So I'm going to do it anyway. I'm allowed to do it. But you know what? I want to do it. I want to move myself from the skilled part. I'll just put my knuckle, use my knuckle to do it, and then I'm good to go. And many doctors will do that. Or the right prescription with their left hand. Still legible, right? Actually, for doctors, it's illegible with the right hand as well. But I use my left hand anyway. I just, and that's good to go. You throw the Shinui, it doesn't take away from the actual act itself. I'm not hurting anyone's life. Yes, Shannon.
I'm confused between the objective and subjective. Is it both or it's neither?
It can be both. It depends is the answer.
So it depends. So if I'm
Sometimes it's objective. Objectively, sometimes it's done that way. People don't write with their mouth, even though he always does it. That's objectively.
Like when is it?
Even though he's always using his mouth to write, objectively, people don't use their mouth to write.
Right, but when is the circumstance?
It's, you have to look at each situation differently, separately.
Like if you write with your left, it's subjective to you on the right, but for me, the right is the left.
So
Which
then-
is right. For you, subjectively, he's going to win over. But objectively, we don't write with their mouths, and therefore he will not be over on it.
So as long as if it's one of them, and
As long as it's one of them. Yeah. As long if you're in the subjective world, subjectively you moved it over. Not always, actually. Not always. I'm thinking of the examples in my head. Let's do some more examples. Maybe let's get a little bit clearer. Let's do it. Yeah.
If someone is ambidextrous,
Then it'll be a derisa both hands. Ambidextrous, derisa. Are you ambidextrous?
have to write with
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can write with both hands?
Yeah.
Both exactly the same equally?
Yeah.
Wow. That's impressive. Yeah, prove it. Yeah, big shot. Yeah. Whole ambidextrous thing. Wow. But naturally, you don't naturally go towards one hand?
No, I can write with both hands.
At the same time?
I don't know about that.
Now, that's impressive. We'll put you on America's Got Talent with that one, I tell you. Yeah, Shani.
It's a question.
So, but in that situation, both hands will be derisa. Because it applies to lefty will be the right, righty, lefty. So therefore, both will be a problem. It's like using your feet or something. I'm just telling you. Yeah.
It's a question. So one of them, you remember when you said it with the Mitaseik?
Yeah.
Someone is living on the wall.
Yeah.
And turn it off.
Yeah.
Right, on Shabbat.
Yeah.
Can you switch?
Very, very good. So, Shani, hey, Rabbi. This is great. This is what we're going to do. She's like, Mitaseik, it's a mistake. I'm going to use a Shinui to turn on my lights. First of all, no way. These two are completely different. Mitaseik means I had no idea this light was going to turn on. Sheino is, I know what I'm doing. I know fully well. I'm just doing it in an unusual way. But it's also referred to as kilachar yad. Kilachar yad, which literally means doing it with the back of your hand, okay? So just referred that way. Kilachar yad. I do it in a backwards fashion. A backwards fashion. It's usually done with my hand. I use my mouth, right? I know someone who had to receive a fax, actually my rabbi, about a very important decision on Shabbat. The fax came through. Ray could pick it up. He used his mouth. Pick it up with his mouth and put it in the same. Carrying a pen on Shabbat. Oh, sorry. Carrying a piece of paper on Shabbat. Pen and books, that's what newspaper. On Shabbat, right, is out from one domain, from inside to outside. No area of public domain from private domain. Forbidden, right? Boop, 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 boop. Forbidden, forbidden, forbidden. If I were to do this, and I carry this item outside like this, hey, that is a shinoi. It's kalachiyat. It's an unusual way of doing it. I haven't used my hand. And that would be, no, it's not allowed. 1 second. Be very clear. It's not allowed. But it takes you out of Torah prohibition. And that's a big jump. You've moved yourself from the Torah level. You're in the rabbinic, and a lot of Judaism is still rabbinic, and there's other Torah prohibitions of not transgressing the rabbi's rulings over here. Okay, so we don't do it. But, if I can add a shinoi, listen very carefully, to something else, a certain necessity, then it may become permitted. Turning on the light with your left hand is not an example of that. Stand over here.
Can you say what
Kilachiyad means the back of your hand in an unusual fashion. It doesn't literally mean the back of your hand. It can include that. It means carrying a piece of paper on your head as opposed to, in your hand. Okay, so when does a shinui help? So let me think of a couple examples now. As we go through the rest of the malachot, we'll look at a few more. It's going to help, for example, how about this? There is a malacha we're going to see called lush. Lamed shin lush. What's lush? Lush is kneading. What's kneading? Kneading, K-N-E-A-D-I-N-G. Kneading, you knead with your hands. Dough, right. Right, why? We're going to see, because they used to make lechem apanim. Okay, they used to make bread. And to make bread, you make fun. So you take water, you take flour, you mix them together. Nachon? You add the water to the flour, and then you make a big gibble, make a big doughy mess. Malacha doraisa. Flour, water, making a big dough. Let's say it's not so thick. It's runny, but it's a little thick. It's like porridge. You're going to make porridge on Shabbat. Right? Porridge? Okay. How do you say porridge in Hebrew, somebody? Oatmeal. Not necessarily, by the way.
Wait, what language is porridge?
Porridges? What language is porridge? What language are you talking? It's English. Yes, it's English.
I've never heard of porridge.
You never had porridge before? You haven't had porridge before?
Yeah, that's British. Of course.
That's British.
South
Oh.
African.
British. From
It's
Goldilocks.
British down in America?
No,
From
it is.
Goldilocks. Oh, God.
That's the only time I've ever heard it.
It's actually really true.
I didn't know it was oatmeal.
Aye.
It's like more lumpy.
I'm dealing with Israelis, Americans, all
More
these
lumpy
messes.
than
This is
oatmeal. It's like
It's a
yummier.
right.
Yeah. I like
Porridge
it.
Goldilocks. That's what it come down to. All right. All right. Look, at least you read the book and watched the movie. I'm assuming. Okay. Porridge is like oatmeal, right? You make a baby food, right? It's basically like a fine powder. You add water to it. If it becomes daisa. Oh, thank God. Daisa is exactly it. Yes, daisa. Woo! Right. I'm gonna be in the hotel now, and I got some daisa, nachan daisa. So you add the water to the flour, it makes a thick thing. If it's not so thick, it may not be a problem. But the rabbi said, listen, let's make it. Let's try that. What we're gonna do, we're gonna add a shinui. When you make it, it's normally done a certain way, which is the water is added to the flour, the oatmeal porridge, whatever, added that way. So you know what? We're gonna throw in a shinui. Okay. And that is usually the water. Usually, you add the water to the oatmeal. It's subjective. Now add the oatmeal to the water. Subjectively, it's going to help. Okay. Let's say you don't know exactly which way you do it. Okay. Water. I don't remember. Usually most people do. Let's say I don't. Look at the box. What does the box say? The way to do it is take porridge, add water, flip it around. Add the porridge to the water or the water to the porridge. Got it? Then they say, but you know what? Just in case, add another, because when the two meet each other, they start to form. So the stirring itself can make it thick. So you know what? We're going to add another shinui. Usually, how do you stir something? How do people usually stir things? Whip, 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 whip. Do it shativera. Do it a crisscross fashion. Add another shinui over there. You can do it.
But it's not necessities.
I know, no problem. For me on Shabbat, I want to have this thing. It's not a thick mix. If it was really thick, you couldn't do it at all. It's a little bit loose, just in case. I'm going to add a shinoi in there as well. That's the way I can form lush, because lush is kneading. I'm going to throw in a shinoi, right? Because the way you usually knead things is round, and you add in a certain order. I've disrupted both of those. The shinois come allow me to do it. I want to smash up a banana and use the back of a spoon. I want to feed a baby. Baby's starting to eat. Or go. Take it, use the back of a spoon or the back of a fork, and that's going to allow you
I
to
don't
do it.
understand what's the difference between that and let's say if your lights on in your bedroom and like making a shinui to turn it on.
The difference is, very fair question. Turning on a light is an absolute malacha d'oraisa. Sheino's not going to help you. Sheino's not going to help you. Over here, it's not a malacha d'oraisa. Making a loose kind of porridge anyway, if it was completely thick, you couldn't even do the Sheino's not going to help you. But I'm removed. So I'm going to mistarif the fact that it's not a thick mixture like the original lush, and I'm going to throw in a shinoi just in case, a double shinoi, you're good to go. And that's how to make daisa on Shabbat.
So I don't understand, like, I just get there. It means like, because it didn't make sense to me. Means, it means like, without effort, without like, investing.
No, here kalachet does not mean that. Kalachet means the unusual way of doing something. That's the lachic way we're going to do it.
Because it says here that it's like, without effort, without like investing, that usually you need to do this action. Like without like tzumet lev. I don't know what. This is why it's weird to me. Like it doesn't make sense for the shit.
Well, I'm saying, what part of you is your question? Sorry, your question is, you don't see kalachiyat being a shinui?
Mm-hmm.
You see, it's two separate things.
No, I don't understand.
It's sometimes referred to that way because it's done in a backwards fashion. So kalachiyat means just do it in a backwards, unusual fashion.
But is it allowed?
So the answer is, it depends. Sometimes it's like, that's what Shabbat halacha is
So
about.
how do you know?
You have to learn it.
No,
You
but
have to
like,
know. You have to know it. Can I make a right on red when I'm driving?
No.
That's not true. You can if you're outside the city. It just depends. You can't. There's general rules. Don't make a right on red. And sometimes, but some here you can, here you can't. How do you know? Depends where you are. You got to learn the streets, and you learn.
What about an Apple Watch?
Very good. Very, very good. Sheshay, how did you know to ask that question? That was great. Okay, Apple Watch. Apple Watch. So, are we allowed to wear an Apple Watch on Shabbat?
No.
Okay, that answer is not going to suffice. You've got to give me reasons. First question you always ask me this question is, what's the malacha? What's the malacha? Are we doraisa? Are we dorabanan? Is there a malacha problem?
The Rabbanan.
They're right there.
Well, can you wear a
You think
watch?
doraisa? Can you wear an Apple Watch or a Fitbit?
Well, can you wear even a watch?
Can you even wear a watch? That's also a question. So we're going to say you can wear a regular watch, regular quartz watch, okay? You moving it around is not affecting it any way whatsoever. There are then many that say even automatic watches, ones that work on your hand movement, are allowed. Many say that because the energy, unless it's completely still, you can't restart it because the energy is actually worked from before. So you're wearing it before, and it's literally got like usually it lasts 24 hours at least. So for Shabbat, it's actually utilizing that energy. You're not making it work right now because the energy you turning it. Oh, is that Hachana? No, I don't care about after Shabbos. Let it stop after Shabbos. Right now I'm on Shabbos. That's not Hachana. Right? If I were to pick up and like, I want this to work after Shabbos. On Shabbos, I pick it up, I'm shaking it, then yes, there'll be a problem. If that's my kavanah, okay, but just wearing it. Some say you can't, but most people say actually even a automatic watch, because the energy beforehand. I think I've just messed myself up with this answer by the way by saying that, but this is good information. Yeah, go on.
Does anything, does the watch do anything? If it's not connected to your phone, is it actually working as something?
Yes, if it's not connected to your phone, the Apple Watch does the following: beep, 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 on, off, on, off, on, off. Okay, it's probably. No, don't say yet. No, don't work. Slowly, back up. Let's build up the case. Like yes or no. Let's figure out. Sometimes the figuring out is more important than sometimes the journey is more important than the destination. The rabbi's going deep now. Nachon? Sometimes it's the journey, not the destination. She's like, no, it's the destination. Okay. First of all, is it a Shinui?
No.
It's not a Shinui. What's Shinui?
No, I said what Shinui you mean?
Oh, what Shinui? Exactly, what Shinui are you doing? Well, how do you normally turn lights on? Assuming this is it's probably not Dorai, it's probably Dorabanan, but let's just say it's a Dorabanan. You know, there's a battery inside there. But how do you normally turn lights on? Let's say it is a light situation over here. I'm not exactly sure, that's what you over there. Usually, right, you turn and switch on a light. I'm thinking of usually, switching my watch, I'm just moving my wrist around.
Yep, that's how it's
But that's how it's done! That's how it's done. This system is done by twisting your hand.
No, it's like the thing with the pencil.
Why?
Why? Because you said even though.
Oh, you're saying it's like the guy writing with a pen in his mouth is over there. Yeah, but he's a one-off. He's what most people are not writing with their mouths. Everyone is operating their Apple Watch by turning it around and getting it to turn on and off. Yeah? Okay, so the answer over there would be no. How about a Fitbit?
What's a yes.
A Fitbit is basically a device, and it doesn't turn on or off. You don't see anything. Okay, the old ones. You wearing a Fitbit? Well, where's it turn on and off? What are you doing? So that's the new one, which is basically a watch thing. Before it had the screen on it, it didn't have a screen. I have the old version, right? It has no screen on it. Right? Before it was that, there was no screen on it. So, can I use that on Shabbos?
What does it do?
It counts your steps. It tracks your steps and how much exercise you're doing.
So until you turn on yours, it's like counted.
It's a battery, rechargeable battery, and it's on all the time. It needs to be charged up once a week at that point. And you walk around, and then at the end of the week, you take the piece out, you stick it in the computer, and up on the screen tells you how many steps you took.
Yeah, you can. No, you can't.
Regular watch runs on battery.
Yeah, but you're benefiting.
Very different. A regular battery, but I'm not interacting with that watch. Here, there's an interaction. But unlike the Apple Watch, you never saw it. I asked that question to a Mitaseik, and I said, I got a Fitbit, and he said, what's that? I said, it counts your steps. He's like, you need to count your steps? That's fine. So I said to him, can I use this watch over this Fitbit? Oh, and your sleep patterns as well, by the way, the early ones, I still don't. Sleep patterns. It told me I slept terribly, but I knew that. I think I need a watch to tell me that? Like, I know I sleep terribly. So I asked him. I said, there's no lights coming on, like Apple Watch Pro. There's no lights coming on. It's purely concealed. He's like, I hear. But these are his words. Somewhere in the kishkas of this Fitbit thing, something's going on. Nachon? I can't see it. The fact you can't see it being done, right? If I turn on a light switch and the light goes on, and I know the light's going on somewhere else, and I won't get benefit, the malacha's still done. Am I benefiting from it? Yeah, eventually. So I'm benefiting from malacha's done on Shabbat, and therefore you cannot wear a Fitbit on Shabbat. That's the perception you gave me. Maybe the rabbis say you can. Maybe some of you can. And Yom Tov, interesting question. Okay, so for 1 second. Since I must mention this. My wife and I became experts in Shabbat ovens. You know Shabbat oven? Shabbat oven is actually a misnomer. They're not called Shabbat ovens. The Shabbat aspect of the oven doesn't actually do too much to you. There's actually ovens made with a Shabbos mode. It actually says Sabbath on it. That's how far we've come in America today. Right? It's unbelievable. It has Sabbath on it. Actually, my fridge as well, because we did our kitchen up, and so we went to GE has the Sabbath ovens, and in the official things, it's a Sabbath. I don't know if it says it in Chinese as well, but then it says Sabbath mode, right? Instructions. So what exactly does that mean, Sabbath mode? So the Sabbath mode means that for Shabbat, you can program the oven to go off at a certain time. Okay, that's fine. That's great, right? That allows me to open up the oven, take the food out. Okay. But when it comes in handy is on Yom Tov. On Yom Tov, you are able to press a button and lower or raise the temperature. Now, on a naked flame, you can do that on Shabbat, right? You can turn up on Yom Tov. On Yom Tov, sorry, on Yom Tov. A regular flame, you can turn up on Yom Tov and turn it down. Nachan? Thanks for picking me out of that. Right? I could have gone to Chayrim for that one. Again. So you can turn up and down. Now I'm in the electric oven. So the electric oven, it has a mode where you see nothing. There's nothing being shown. And you literally press the button on Yom Tov, and the temperature goes up, temperature goes down, but you see nothing. Nothing's showing. So the Star K, that's Rav Haim in Baltimore, gave a hechsher saying it's okay. Other Rabbanim turn around, we got a bat says, don't get it, it's a problem. So we did research. I called so many rabbis on this. Do not ask. We went crazy. My wife even called Rav Heinemann, the head of the Star K, had a conversation with him. He said, no problem. It's happening, they do it, it happens at a random time. It doesn't happen immediately. You press up, and then random sequence later it goes up, goes down, and you can't see it. Something's happening. He's like, it's not a problem. The happening inside is negligible. Negligible. Other rabbis like, what are you talking about? You're pressing, electrics are going up, electrics going down. I'm telling you, left with the question, my wife, I think, stopped using the Yom Tov Shabbat mode on Yom Tov after that, which was annoying. She stopped doing that. It's still there. She didn't do it.
But it's like the Fitbit, because you said like the
That's what I
kishke of the
say,
thing.
right?
I know. The only, that's Shabbat, Yom Tov. So on Yom Tov,
You're not allowed.
Shabbat Lagamre, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Not
Not allowed to use
Yom Tov, you can interact with it. This is cooking. You're allowed to do certain things for cooking, for Ochel Nefesh on Yom Tov.
Right.
So there's already, say the Torah itself says Ochel Nefesh, cooking, preparing food is permitted on Yom Tov.
Using
If it's for
an
that
existing
day.
fire.
Using an existing fire.
And if it's for the meal of
So you're not allowed.
Yeah, you want to make a meal on
Right.
Shabbat. Yeah, for Yom Tov. On Yom Tov for Yom Tov, no problem, yeah. So we're saying over there, he was like, okay. And he's a big rabbi. He's a big posek. He runs a very, very reputable. He said it's okay.
No, but you can.
I'm just giving the mechanics. He was like, but others were like, no, but something's happening inside. He's like, that's negligible.
You can still use the mode that turns it off and turns it
Yeah,
on.
yeah, sure. Yeah, my wife uses that, sure. It's okay. Okay, let's finish this off. Okay. Next, turn to your page. Mekalkel.
What page are we?
We are on page 6, bottom right hand corner, 6. Okay, so we did machshava thought. We looked at the 3 over there that removed me from the thought process. We did a shinoi. I do it shinoi kalachayad. It's not skilled anymore. Now we come to the last 2. In order to be melechet machshevet, it needs to be chashuv, important. It has to be important. Now that's going to be tricky to define, but we'll make it a little bit clearer. The outcome, the way it's done, has been in an important fashion, but the outcome of it, the outcome of it has to be important as well. So let's look at two examples of that. The first is Mekalkel. Mekalkel or kilkul is destructively. You see, when things were done in the Mishkan, they were done constructively. They were done in a constructive fashion. Okay? But if I were to do the same act in a destructive way, then you know what? It could well be that it's permitted. And maybe that isn't. Unless it was even done in the Mishkan in a destructive way. Because sometimes destructive is constructive.
What's destructive? In other words?
Break it apart. To destroy something. Yeah? Can you think of an example? This is a tough question. Where something is done destructively, but actually there's a constructive outcome that comes from it. I'm destroying something, but actually that's constructive. Okay? And it's actually going to do some good.
Can you,
Someone has the hand up, yeah.
Like ripping paper to use something.
Ripping paper to use. Ripping material to use. Let's say you have something on the hem of your skirt or your pants, and I want to rip it in order to sew it up better. Okay? That actually is a malacha daraisa. Look inside your list of 39. Go back to the front page. Look at number 35. That is demolishing. So, Sarah, I demolish something. Demolishing is Mekalkel, isn't it? No, because I'm demolishing it in order to build it. I destroy it. If I demolish it because I want it demolished, right? But if I demolish it and actually has a constructive thing I can now build on it, then it's a problem. Korea is ripping. The ripping has to be constructive. If the ripping is destructive, it's going to be okay. If the ripping is constructive, then it's a problem. If I were to rip something because I want to make it nice to open up so I can sew it up better, right? That would be a problem, malacha d'oraisa. But if I rip something because I don't want it, I just want to rip it and it's destroyed by that act, that's going to be okay.
so you're not allowed to tie your shoes all over again? So like you're destroying it and then you...
No. It means literally destroying the item. Tying your shoes will not fall into this. We'll discuss tying shoes later. They'll be under kosher, but not over here. Yeah.
If you destroy it to rebuild it, but you aren't rebuilding it until like...
Nothing to do with it. If you're Makava on that Shabbat is to destroy in order to rebuild at that time, it's still a problem.
So is this Doraisa or is it
So Mekalkel takes you out of the Doraisa category. All I'm pointing out to you is that not all destructive action is actually destructive. It can be constructive. It has to be destructive. Now we're going to use this a lot when we get to the malacha that is involved in opening packages on Shabbat. Opening packages on Shabbat, and boxes and syrup boxes and tuna cans and bottles and that kind of thing. That is going to be discussed at great length over there when we get there, yeah.
Okay, so if you're just ripping a random shirt down from the hem of your skirt, but you're not gonna sew it back, you're just ripping it off, is that completely fine?
Why are you ripping it?
It's just sticking out. Can you rip it, I'm asking?
That's say it, isn't it?
So, just ripping something.
Like to demolish it. So.
It's probably not the right no.
So if you're benefiting from it...
If you're benefiting from it, let's say it this way. How about this one? Let's say you break something because you have an anger problem. Right? So if you break something, I'm actually getting my anger out. That's constructive. That's problematic.
But what about the...
Because there's actually been a positive outcome because of it. So even breaking something or destroying something in order to assuage my anger, not that it's permitted anyway, is also it's also a problem.
What about the sticky paper?
What's sticky paper?
Like the sticky paper that you...
Post-it notes?
Raping... No.
Wrapping.
The wrapping paper,
Yeah.
like the sticky one, when you like save the food.
Saran wrap.
What do you want to do with it? You want to rip the...
No,
go-
you reap it from
No
the
problem.
thing.
Oh, no, 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 no. Great, great, great. Ripping aluminum foil. This is good. So let's do this. Okay, this will help clear it up nicely. Great, thank you. That means you have the right cover now. Okay, I have saran wrap. I have aluminum foil. I have toilet paper. Okay. I'm going to rip the edge of it in order to... What's the malacha? So it's two possibilities. Korea is one, and Bechatech is another. I always forget. One of them is problematic because it leaves one edge usable, and one of them is because both edge becomes usable. Okay? Kind of academic, but either way. It's a constructive cutting. That's not Mekalkel. See, when I take the aluminum and I rip it off the edge, it's constructive. Why? Because now I've taken that edge of it and I'm going to use it. It's part of... this piece of saran wrap is usable. Totally forbidden on Shabbat. Mechateich or Korea, totally forbidden. One edge is now useful. The edge you've pulled away. Okay? If you're going to keep on ripping, even both edges become useful. That is forbidden. Oh, 1 second. So that's aluminum foil. So you have to have pre-cut aluminum foil, pre-cut saran wrap, pre-cut bounty, right? Pre-cut toilet paper. But let's say you're stuck in the bathroom and there's no pre-cut toilet paper. Oh, there's no tissues you prepared over there. What are you going to do? So over there we're going to add a Shinui. But the only reason we're allowed to add a Shinui is because another concept called covered habriot. Covered habriot means we have people, there's some amount of honor Hashem lets us have. He doesn't expect people to walk around dirty and smelly. And therefore the rabbis relaxed this and said, you know what? We're going to allow you to throw in a Shinui for the toilet paper only, not for the aluminum and not for the saran wrap. How do you have a Shinui when it comes to toilet paper? Right, so you don't cut on the serrated, on the perforated point, because that's what it was made to cut on the perforated piece. Nachon? That's what it said. So if I cut off of that, that's good. But you know what? I'm still cutting. It's still... So you know what they say? Add another Shinui. Put 2 Shinuis on there. That would be to cut with your elbows, if that's possible. Or if you usually cut with your right hand, you're going to basically rip with your left hand in an unusual way. Or, I don't recommend this, but it would work. You don't attach it at all. You put it into the toilet, flush, and it'll go right a little bit, and then you end up with a broken piece at the end, right? Because it's wet, and you just, I mean, you got soggy end. It's not so pleasant. But that would actually, I'm joking for the water. What? That's the way. I'm just telling you, it's the way it comes. Is that gone? And that would actually work. Don't shoot the messenger.
What about chopping wood?
One second. Chopping wood, great. Chopping wood is, if I'm cutting wood for a constructive purpose, I need the firewood, that would be okay. But if I'm chopping wood because, that would be a problem. That would be a problem. I'm right jumping ahead. But if there is a child stuck in a room, they get out and they're scared in there, I want to destroy the door, right? That's me destroying the wood over here because I don't want it, not because I do want it. And that would be, if someone's in pain or something, in trouble, then you'll be allowed to do it. You can't do the chatzil, there has to be something.
You have the intention to rebuild it though, if you're going to break down the door.
No, right now, especially I'm not going to rebuild it, I'm going to put another door over there, that's fine. I'm just going to smash it down to do that. Yeah. Okay, so tearing a seam to widen or narrow it, demolishing a building to rebuild, slaughtering an animal, right? You're destroying it, but that's a positive thing, right? So even though killing itself is Mekalkel, there's still a malacha of... Actually, the only reason you're allowed to kill animals that are slightly dangerous or, harmful is because of malacha shein legufa. Okay? It's a malacha shein. That's really what helps you over there.
Oh, what? Can you give an example to Mekalkel that I can write?
I'm thinking about 15 of them.
Oh,
The kids
No,
don't
one
know.
that's-
Mekalkel, here's a nice one. You have aluminum foil on the covering your chicken. We'll give an easy one that no one disputes, okay? So I'm going to rip through it. Oh, you can't rip aluminum foil. I'm destroying it. After I do this, it's destroyed. After I do this, it's destroyed. It's gone through a kill. I want to open a beer bottle top on Shabbat.
A what?
Beer bottle top. Beer bottle, bira. Ish kisui. How do I take the top off?
Oh, okay.
Not the screw top. I want to take it off.
With
Actually, even the screw top.
Yeah.
So when you, there's a slight, doesn't apply by beer at all, by the way. But when it comes, let's go back. Let's see the problem, then we'll see the answer. Are you allowed to open up a plastic bottle top on Shabbat? Coca-Cola bottle, you know that? Can I open up a plastic?
Yeah.
Some people do.
So some people don't. So basically, the fact some do, some don't means it's a question somewhere, and there's a possible answer to the question. Okay. Plastic. First of all, how's it made? Just follow this. You want to answer?
I mean, beer bottles and plastic things are different because with the plastic bottles, they're actually unscrewed and separated in front, like they're connected. But with the beer bottle, it's just the metal based on top that you're not separating.
Good. How about a metal plastic, a metal top, a Perrier bottle?
Well, then you still separate it because they're connected. It's just perfect.
Can anyone see any other possible? By the way, I would never have found this myself. Can anyone see another possible malacha that applies? You got to think hard. By the way, I would not have got this. By opening a metal Perrier bottle and not by a plastic bottle. By opening a metal bottle top, but not by a plastic one. And by the way, this is going to be halacha l'maisa because many people open plastic tops, including myself, but I won't open metal ones unless I Mekalkel it beforehand.
What's metal? What's metal?
Metals.
No, give me an example. Like
What
what?
a Perrier in a Perrier bottle. A Perrier bottle's got a metal top on top. Right, the kissoy.
What?
A glass bottle.
Oh.
Okay, and it's got the metal thing on top.
Why it's not allowed?
Well, I'm trying to figure out of it. That's exactly my question. Why isn't it allowed? Yeah.
Is it because metal is really recyclable?
Nope. It's not a green energy answer. I would not have got. I would never have got this, by the way. Yeah.
You're creating a cleat.
Woo! Wow. How'd you know that?
I mean, they had a coach about required in high school. That was like 5 years ago.
Very good. They taught you well. What did you say?
That you're creating a cleat.
Making a kli. What kli are you making?
I mean, it's a glass bottle.
No.
No, you're making
You
it
misheard.
now.
You misheard what your Rebbe told you in yeshiva.
Oh, they didn't get that far.
That part you didn't hear. Right. No, it's not the bottle. The bottle was always a kli. The bottle, a vessel. A kli is a vessel. Write that down. Chaf lamed yud. Right? It was always a kli. It was always a kli from beforehand.
Ring left over from the pirate.
That metal top could possibly, it's tricky, more likely by a tuna can, as we're going to get to, but by that metal top, when you take it off, you actually create something new. But that's not true by a plastic top. You see, when you make, I'll tell you why.
They stamp it down.
Right. You see, when they make plastic bottle tops, as I've heard, and you can probably check this out on some boring video on YouTube, it's made into a plastic top and they chunk, 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 chunk. They put different plastic bottle tops on the bottles. Nachon, right? The metal one, supposedly, is a flat piece and boom, boom. It's not a vessel yet, it's just holding on. When you take it off, it's now becoming a clear vessel, you're making a vessel. So people are more strict, bonus, right, building, more strict by metal tops than they are by plastic ones. Oh, 1 second, I got a Perrier bottle. I want to open it on Shabbat. So many people actually will stab, people do this, stab the top of the bottle with a sharp object, there's a hole in it. They can use it for tuna cans as well. And when it opens, it's no longer a kli because it's got a hole in it. So it takes away the shame kli. We're going to do this again when we discuss these malachas later on of opening and closing packages. There's a lot to discuss when we get there. We have time. But that's the problem over there. I'm Mekalkel the top, no longer a kli. I think you can use the idea kalkal over there as well. And therefore is allowed. Did you get that? That's the kalkal.
So what about
Shani, does that help you at all?
the beer? You said?
So the beer, thank you. So the beer bottle over there, it's not a problem at all. Get a bottle opener and just pop the top off. It's first of all, it's too shallow, not used for anything. And you're breaking, you bend it anyway, it's not usable again, it's fine.
Wait, what's the
Oh, what about?
And anyway, a beer bottle top anyway is that shape anyway, I think. I believe.
Then I can't
It's
drink
pinched
it.
out.
What about
And when you
wine?
open it, you're kind of bumping it anyway.
Can you clarify about the plastic cap? Like why
Plastic cup was, the cap itself was a cap before it was attached to the bottle. In that bottle, it was like, when in the factory, they make them this shape. So they then attach it as a cover, you take it off, it's still the same shape. The metal, it was a sheet, it was never a unit, it was never an existing vessel. So by turning around, you now create a new vessel for the first time. So it's not the bottle, it's the cap itself. I believe, if I remember correctly. So that's the depends. And some people say, no, use metal, plastic up metal, and they'll open metal as well, some people. They're very lenient with this, yeah. And some people don't open plastic either. Some people go around on Erev Shabbat. I have my Rameh Chavrusa, he's a very frum guy, he's a doctor. He goes around his house, Erev Shabbat, opening all cans, opening all soda bottles. Open it, close it, fine. Depends how frum you are, really.
What
I
about
guess.
wine?
Wine's not a problem at all. Wine is a cork inside. It was also a cork. It's just a trapped item or something else. No problem opening on
But
Shabbat.
if you don't finish the wine and you did
No problem. I'm not creating anything new. Open, close, open,
What
close.
about a soda can? Is that like
When it comes to soda cans, basically with soda cans, it's tricky. But they say if you do it in a way and you empty it all out in one go, and then the vessel you just like destroy it afterwards, it's fine. And some people are strict and won't open soda cans on Shabbos. I'm just giving the mechanics behind it. Yeah.
If you're opening container, what are you saying you're creating?
When you take the lid off the actual the actual can itself, people use the can to put nails in, screws and nails and whatever. So that'll be a problem. So some people will stab. My wife stabs the bottom, or they'll empty out the entire contents and they will bend it so it's not usable right afterwards, or just dispose of it straight away. So the clean part, yeah.
So why was it permissible with plastic top?
Because before it was even attached to the bottle, it was a kli. You didn't create it; it was always a kli. It was just put over there, then taken off. The metal was never a kli beforehand. It was a sheet of metal, a flat sheet. So when you turn it off at home, it becomes a vessel for the first time. Okay, I got to finish this because I want to start the first malacha next class. Is that okay? We're going to come back to all these ideas again. I promise you. The final thing I want to mention is is Davar Sheino Mitkayem. Davar, something Sheino, which is not Mitkayem, doesn't last. When it was done originally, in order to be important, it's made to last. Is that a car commercial? Made to last. Let's say I have something that's made not to last. So it's a malacha, but I do it in a way that it's not going to last. Sometimes it's going to be permitted, actually many times, and sometimes it won't be permitted. Using invisible ink. Made to last, not made to last. They have certain pens that doctors will use. That's what it's relying upon. You see, it's a Davar Sheino Mitkayem. Right? A Shabbos pen, the doctor will have to write a prescription, so they write with a pen where actually the ink wears out. Even after Shabbos, it wears out. Why? Because the original writing was done for. I go to the window, I'll go, put my name in there. Probably shouldn't do it anyway, but it's not a Malacha D'Oraisa. There's just no way. Because Malacha D'Oraisa was you write with a pen, and that pen lasts forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. I'm wearing sneakers.
Wait, it's a pen. What did you say? It's a pen that what?
That the ink, after 9 hours, becomes invisible.
They're gone?
Gone. Legamre.
Oh.
Totally gone. I can't see it. Or a very faint trace of it. It's hardly legible. I don't know. Okay? Doctor will use that one. Right? How about this one? How's something we can all do? Or not do. I'm wearing sneakers, and above my sneakers it says Nike. Right? Or it says Adidas. Or Louboutin. Whatever you are. I have 4 daughters. I know what's going on out there. They don't wear those, believe me. Okay, fine. I walk along the beach. As I walk along, boop, 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 boop. Right? Nike, 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 Nike. Well, first of all, you could say it's a Shinui. Right? Because that's normally people write. People don't write with the sole of their foot. They just don't. Add to that the fact it's a Davar Sheino Mitkayem. As I walk through the dirt or walk through the sand, it leaves an imprint, but it's not going to last, and therefore it's not a problem at all. Okay? But you're writing! You're making an imprint. Yeah. I don't think so.
So I have a question about tying shoes then. What if you're making a knot that's not meant to last?
Beautiful! When it comes to the malacha of kosher, we are going to use this exact concept. Well done. Well done. Yes, making a shoelace as opposed to a double knot is going to be a very interesting difference. Using an item, tying my shoelace on Shabbos, in order for them to last for a long time, is a problem. But if I just do a regular knot, which I know I'm going to undo tonight and then do it tomorrow and undo, and it's not a real knot anyway, then in Mitkayem, not a problem. That's why you're allowed to tie your laces or make a tie on Shabbat, because I know when I do it, but tonight I'm going to undo it.
So can you make a double knot, making
Double knots are more problematic. Probably isn't such a problem, by the way. When we get to kosher, we'll actually have a shoe demonstration happening over there. But double knot, maybe, because it could last. If on Shabbos you make a double knot and your plan is to kick your shoe off and then put it back, slip it back in again, that's going to be a problem.
right, but if you have the intention of taking it off after.
Even so, a double knot is probably a kosher. We're careful not to make that knot. Yeah.
Can you braid your hair?
Ooh, wow, what a question. Can you braid your hair on Shabbos? It's not weaving. I would have thought it was weaving as well, but it's not considered weaving. Who said that? Your Rebbe did well. Yes, it's considered bone actually building. You cannot braid. You can put your hand in you cannot braid. You can put your hand in ponytails. Okay, you can make shani. I said kuku atchalasot aval. You cannot make braiding because it's bone. Why? Because Chava, they say it was made of clear. She was braided. Her hair was braided, and she was built. So they say biesh bin ba'adam. We'll discuss it in more detail. But it was considered building by humans, and therefore it's forbidden to braid your hair on Shabbos. I know, but just the braiding itself is a problem. The Davar Sheino Mitkayem is not going to help. Braiding hair is not allowed yet. The Davar Sheino Mitkayem is an item, right, where the results are not going to last. Okay? Let me just find some examples for you. 1 second. Oh my goodness. Examples over here. How about this one? You know, there's photo grade lenses. With the lenses, you go outside, they become dark, become light, dark, light. Right? Oh, that's survey, isn't that coloring? And the answer is, it's okay. Davar Sheino Mitkayem, it's not going to last forever. You know, it switches backwards and forwards, that's okay. All right, this has been fantastic. We'll stop over there. Shabbat Shalom. We'll pick this up Tuesday, God willing. We'll start our first Malacha. Yay.